Okay, now just checking that we don't have Dan Noonan here. No, all right. So moving on then to Chris Abbott from Spokes Canterbury.
Hi there.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. Well, thank you very much for the time. Do appreciate it. See, you've got a lot to do. I've got a written submission that I'll put through to the hub later today or tomorrow. So I'm going to pick the eyes out of it and try and stay to time and keep it short, because you've got a lot to get through. I'm from Spokes. I've been with them for 4 years. I've been a cyclist for almost all my life, so way over 50 years. Spokes represents cycling in Christchurch. We've got a lot of active and even more passive members who we represent. We represent not only those that cycle, but those that want to cycle but feel unsafe to do so in current conditions. We're going through an extraordinary time, we all know that. Now, one of my abiding good memories of the lockdown was that the many pictures and articles in the local and the national press, or the national media, that showed people of all ages, when the conditions were right, i.e. there were less cars on the road, there was less pressure on work, people got out cycling, and with a smile. Families, there is a demand for cycling, and I think we have a responsibility to make it easy and safe for all our citizens to do so. For too long, people have been forced into their cars because of the pressure of work or the feeling of unsafety around the facilities. So the major cycle routes are just tremendous. They're being used. Newsline this week showed that cycling use was up some 20% year on year from last year. That's the council's Newsline. But the revised draft annual plan cuts the active travel budget by, as far as I could work out, something like 77%, but only cuts roading projects by 14%. There's a mismatch here, a huge mismatch, particularly when in the looming recession, I can see that people will move more to active transport because it's cheaper and more convenient for short journeys than relying upon cars. People will not have the money for their extra cars. So I do see a move towards active transport. And we really do believe that the demand for cycling is there, and it's backed up by this recent experience that we've had and this future outlook of, I think all the pundits are picking that there is going to be quite a recession coming. Now, despite the success the council's had with the major cycle routes, it does seem that the program is being reduced most in the revised plans, rather than just a fair share of the cutbacks. And yet the benefits for a small expenditure are so much greater than on the bigger projects. It's a case really of focus on what I think people want, and that is your decision. Yeah, and we've got to ask ourselves: are we afraid of success? Every new cycleway shows an upturn in the number of people cycling, and it's appreciated that this is a good thing for everyone, including those that use cars for transport. More people in my submission, you'll see a picture of how much space is taken up by a handful of cars and the same number of people on bikes. As you can imagine, the space for cyclists is much, much, much less. It's just a quicker way to get round. It makes it best for everybody. Cutting to the chase, I'm going to stay hopefully within time. We're asking that the Cycle Advisory Panel be reinstated and consulted on all transport planning and projects. We'd be glad to take part, but it's just important that you consult all stakeholders, not just the businesses, not just the car industry, but all stakeholders, and that's detailed in the submission. And we ask that you empower all members of the community. Oh, no, I've just done that. But we particularly ask that you continue with the major cycle routes and the interconnections to the local routes that are used. You've started just so well. I say we've started so well because it's for all of Christchurch. I'd just like to see it continue, particularly in this time of economic downturn. So I'll summarise. Now, please don't waste this opportunity to complete the major cycle routes network as per the pre-COVID-19 plan for the benefit of all Christchurch citizens. Thank you for your time.
And perfectly on time as well. I will allow one question if there is one. There isn't? Oh, Yanni.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the submission. I just wanted, in terms of just a high-level comment on the design of our cycleways and whether you feel that the cycling community is engaged sufficiently in the design, or if that was kind of why you were thinking of this new advisory group being re-established.
Well, it's just that we've seen with many instances, say St Asaph Street, there was a ferry road, the businesses are consulted, the car groups are consulted, but the cyclists that are going through these, maybe not living just based right there, but the ones that go through are not consulted by Abbott.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. We look forward to receiving the written submission. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great day.